Hi, seniors. This is Miss Anderson, and welcome to Lesson 1 of writing our research paper. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, the first thing we're going to do for our research paper is read our primer text, okay? It is called Your First Research Paper, and hopefully you have that text in hand because we are going to read it together. So we're going to start by reading the introduction in chapter 1. Then we're going to take some notes. And so I'm going to give some guidance in between there. And then we're going to move on to chapter 2. Just to give you a view of our larger picture here, okay? So I already have all of our lessons planned out, okay? We're going to do a lot of things, okay, for our project. And that's why you hear me keep saying that we're going to take this huge task and turn it into bite-sized chunks, okay? So all of these things we are going to talk about, okay? So I don't want you to be afraid, be confused, or to be anything other than ready to put your best foot forward and ready to really produce quality work. That's what I want you to bring into this, a commitment to putting in the effort to produce quality work. And if you do that, you will produce a fantastic research paper and a fantastic presentation at the end. All right, so let's go ahead. So I am going to read out loud, and you are going to follow along with me in your book, okay? So I'm going to start off with the introduction, and without further ado, let's go. Introduction. So it is time for you to sit down and write a well thought out paper, is it? Are you worried about not getting the details just right? Perhaps you are concerned that your writing is not up to snuff, or you do not know where to start first. However, writing a paper does not have to be difficult or scary. It may take time, especially if you want to go through the process of researching everything to make sure that all the details are perfect. But it is easy to get stuck in front of your screen, staring at that blinking cursor on it and wondering what comes next for you, or how you can make sure that you do, in fact, succeed when it comes to providing yourself with what you want. Nevertheless, do not forget this one important point. Writing a paper is not about getting every single word phrased correctly the first time you write it. It comes in steps and takes time and effort. Forget that notion that the first draft of your paper has to be perfect. Forget the idea that you must write the final draft the first time your fingers meet keys. Writing is fluid, it is a process, and it takes time. Excuse me. So I would like you to take a highlighter, and I would like you to highlight that sentence that says, forget the notion that the first draft of your paper has to be perfect. Because that's in itself is an oxymoron. A draft has to be revised. And then those last couple of sentences, writing is fluid, it is a process, it takes time. Please highlight those. Writing takes time. I can't express that enough. Let's keep going. This book is here to guide you through the art of writing a proper research paper. If you are working toward completing your first formal paper for your field, no matter where you are in your degree-seeking process, this is the book for you. Did you just complete your first lab and need to get the results written? Perfect. Follow this guide. Did you just finish up a marketing research project? This can help you with that. Maybe you just studied something for psychology and you need to write up your report. And as you may have guessed it, this book is for you. No matter the reason behind the paper, you can learn to write it with ease with the information you are about to be given. As you read through this book, you will see everything that matters the most when it comes to writing a paper. and you will be guided through every step of the process. You can learn how to properly write anything so long as you follow these steps. Now, do not let that fear or that anticipation of not being able to get the details right hold you back. It is time to get started. So now, seniors, would be a time for you to pause the video and take you a little break. You can walk around, use the restroom, get a snack, do any of those things, okay? And then come back and let's start with Chapter 1, Introduction to Research Papers. What events led up to the Great Depression? Why do people want to live in social groups? What makes us unique as a species? How do we think? What goes into writing a paper? These are all questions that could be posed. They are all very important in their own ways, and they all share one thing in common. Despite how different all these questions look, the one thing that they do share in common is that they all have answers to them. The answers may be different, but they all have factual answers that could be found if you were to research them online. This means that they are problems that can be solved. They are mysteries that already have an ending to them. All you have to do is go out and find those answers for yourself. We all have questions that we either want to answer, have to answer, or are prompted to answer throughout life. We have questions daily. What temperature do I cook this food at? What is the weather going to be like this week? Where should I invest my money? What career is the best one to get into right now? Thoughts with questions pop into our minds constantly, and our natural reaction is to look up the answers. I like that sentence. Our natural reaction is to look up the answers. You notice it didn't say our natural reaction is to ask somebody else, because that's not natural. When a question pops into your mind, it is your job to find the answer first. It's only when you have searched and you cannot find that answer, then you pose that question to someone else. However, sometimes we have more formal questions presented to us at varying points in life. If you are in college or university, you are probably well acquainted with the idea of having to write papers. But oftentimes, people find themselves woefully unprepared when it comes to an understanding of how to create a well-crafted research paper. However, they are very important to learn how to use if you have any intention of pursuing academics. So what he's saying is that all of you, prayerfully, will be going to college next year, whether that be a 4-year college, 2-year college, a trade school, or just a certificate-seeking institution. No matter, being able to understand and write a research paper is going to be applicable because it applies to all fields. And I'm going to show you that as we go into writing our research paper. Let's continue. Within this chapter, we are going to take a look at precisely what a research paper is. You need to figure out precisely what goes into it and how you can ensure that you can manage to create one the right way. And we're going to do that, trust me. What is a research paper? Let us begin by considering what research itself is. We research something when we have a question that needs answering. It could be that you want to know who built the pyramids in Egypt. Or maybe someone asked you how a diesel engine works. You may also have questions that are presented to you to test your abilities to research and learn, such as being asked whether or not you understand what you are learning in class in college. Perhaps you are told that you must answer a question using the information that you have been provided over time. No matter the reason behind the question always comes first. You must remember to answer it at the end of the day. And this involves research. So how that applies to you is we are going to formulate together, you and I, your research question. Your research question is going to be based upon your service that you're doing now, a problem that's in the community, and what you would like to do about a problem that's in your community. Okay? So that's what your research paper is doing, is going to answer that research question. So that's why your research question is one of the most important things of your research paper. Let's continue. Most of us push our research to the internet these days. There is no reason to run out to the library to pick up books to read about the subject that matters to you unless you cannot get access to the internet in the first place. We type in our questions into our web browsers and read the results to understand what is going on, what matters the most to us, and how we can put that information to good use for ourselves. That is research. And it is done when you have a question that requires an answer. Research paper then is meant to organize everything for you. It is the process through which you can present that question that you have for answering and then dictate it all out, explaining the train of thought, the research done, and how you eventually arrived at an answer that you have. When you do this, you are essentially discovering how you can convey the information that you have gained throughout the period of time that you have researched. Oh boy, my, that's a lot. So go ahead and highlight that last paragraph, starting with the research paper is meant to organize everything for you. So everything that you are learning from your service organization, you've been doing observations, you've been doing research, okay? Everything that you've learned, okay, in addition to the things that you research, you're going to put all of those things together and you are going to come up with a solution or a resolution or at least an attempt at a solution for what your research question is. And it's going to be a work of art. I can't wait. That's what's exciting for me as your teacher. Okay? Let's keep going. The purpose of the research paper. The research paper then has one important purpose. No, it is not just to get a good grade in school, though it can help you achieve that. No, it is not just for doctorate students trying to get their PhD, though it can help with that as well. Not only does it help you organize all your information in one place, but it also ensures that at the end of the day, excuse me, you will be able to communicate. It is great that all your information will be contained in one place, but there is so much more to it than just being able to see it all written down where it matters the most. There is much more to that at the end of the day. You must also be able to communicate what it was that is written. Okay, so what he's saying here, a little difficult, his writing is not very clear. But what he's trying to say is that your research paper has to be organized. It has to be communicated in a way that makes sense. Okay. And that's where the revision, that's where proofreading, that's where rereading your paper is going to come in. Okay. So please make your peace with revision. All right. Please make your peace with that now. The idea behind creating a research paper is that you have a structure that will help you convey what it is you have written at any point in time. You must also be able to convey how you have answered the question, as well as what your question was to begin with. When you make use of a research paper, you can figure out precisely how you can communicate all that information to others so that it might be interested, so that, sorry, his writing doesn't flow logically, so I'm going to stop there. Because research papers are structured, we can know what to expect within them. We know what is likely to be present and what will not be. We know that we can expect there to be information about the thesis that is being discussed, as well as what to expect with everything else as well. When you learn how to understand these research papers, you can learn to format everything into that standard format that will allow for the research to be followed and understood, and that is greatly important. You're going to highlight that sentence right there, okay? When you learn how to understand these research papers, you can learn to format everything into that standard format. Seniors, that is what I am trying to teach you. I'm teaching you a standard format. And some of you, through your reflections, your proposal and application, still have not learned that. Some of you took the application, I don't even know what you did, but all you had to do was open up the application, save it, and then type into it. And some of you changed the format for that. I don't understand. Standard format. All right, let's keep going. Ultimately, the purpose of the research paper is to present a thesis, the statement or theory that you have as to why something works. It discusses the research that you have gathered to support that thesis. It will help you narrow the scope of your research so that you can stay on track and on topic. It helps to guide your thoughts and keep your writing structured in a logical way. It helps you to create that narration of your understanding, your experience in researching, your service to your community, and everything else that you have come to understand through the time that you have studied your research question. Even better, because your results will be listed in a way that is standardized, organized, and able to be followed easily, you can present your argument to the world. Anyone can pick up a well-formed research paper and understand what the point of it was. Anyone can look at that research paper and pick out the parts that are there. Because of that, the research paper is highly valuable in many academic and research-based settings. That standardization is essential if you need to be able to share research readily. And that means that being able to create your own research paper, whether for your own personal benefit, a job, or for school, it is highly useful. Think of a research paper as the ultimate way in which you can present the information that matters most. It can help you explain the information that is relevant to the question that you had at hand. And it can present it in a way, in a standard format, that will help you get your point across effectively, succinctly, and in a logical manner. Meaning that if your research paper, and I have some notes for you in just a second, I'm going to go ahead and put them up now. If your research paper is not organized, okay, let me go ahead and read these notes. These notes are, you're going to write these, you're going to pause the video, and you're going to write these in your notebook, okay? So for every lesson that we have, you are going to take some notes, and your notes you're going to reread every day several times. It doesn't matter when you reread them, on the bus or the train, in the morning before school, in the afternoon. It doesn't matter when you read them, but you need to read them twice, okay? The first bullet, research is the activity of searching for information about a topic or a question. Searching, okay? When we say searching, that searching, yes, is going to be online, but searching can come in any way. Meaning you can be walking down the hallway and someone can say something and that piques your interest and you ask the question. You can be on the bus or train and Cadet Sharif will tell you this. You can be searching for something and that information comes to you. So when we say searching, we're not just saying you physically going to the internet. Everything around you, that's the law of nature, is designed to give you what you need. So open your eyes to the things that are around you, and I guarantee you some of your questions will be answered just based upon what's around you. Next bullet, a research paper is an arranged piece of writing that answers a question. Arranged, that's the key word. Well, and that answers a question. But arranged means it has a format. It follows a structure. So you're not going to get the best grade possible if you don't follow that structure. And it's not, it's not difficult, okay? Because I feel like a lot of you do things intentionally not to do it. Like formatting, like the page header, like writing the date. I ask you to write out the day, the month, the date, and the year. And some of you still format it in any way you want to do it. That's not the way we demonstrate meticulousness. And when you're in college, that's going to give you a bad look when you don't follow instructions. Next bullet. The purpose of a research paper is to present a thesis in an organized, structured, logical, understandable, and properly formatted way in order to inform or to persuade the reader. Our research paper is not meant to entertain. It can be entertaining, but it's not meant for that. It's meant to share information. It's meant to convey a problem and a resolution. That's our particular research paper. And you do want to, I'm sorry, you do want to invite your audience, whoever is reading your research paper or whoever is watching your presentation. You do want to invite them to a call of action. You want to persuade them into joining you and helping solving a problem. So your paper can be persuasive as well. But I need for you to make sure that you get these in your notes. And the reason why I'm asking you to read it twice is that you are going to know, once you have this locked in your brain, that your research paper is presenting a thesis in an organized, structured, logical, understandable, and properly formatted way, then when you're proofreading, when you're reading aloud your paper, you're going to hear these things. You're going to hear if it's unorganized. You're going to hear if it's illogical, if it's crappy. Okay? And some of you, I challenge you to go back and read your reflections now and apply this formula to it. Go back and read your, especially 3 and 4. Reflections 3 and 4. Ask yourself, is it organized? Is it structured? Is it logical? Is it understandable? And is it formatted? And you will be surprised. Okay, so that is going to wrap up chapter 1, okay? We are going to stop here. You're going to get these notes in your notebook, and we will move on to chapter 2. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.